this is where the challenge of entrepreneurship comes in. That even for an organization like ours, who is growing, that we need to strip out the inefficiencies. And so if you think, I grew up in Oshawa, down the street from a General Motors plant. So I know how that world works. And how that world works is you have an assembly line. And the reason you have an assembly line is that there are very clear roles that are defined. It is as automated as it possibly can be. You have stripped out, every single inefficiency from a time and a financial standpoint, so that at the end you protect your margin. And so you have the highest profitability you can in an assembly line environment. And every organization out there should want to get to an assembly line environment because that's where you make the most money. The challenge with that is when we then say, yes, but we need to be nimble and we need to innovate and we need to be entrepreneurs, well, you can't do that on the assembly line. You don't mess with the assembly line. Because if you change the spot welder, well, that has ramifications further down the assembly line. So what I think real entrepreneurs have to do, real intrapreneurs have to do, is do what the car companies do. That when they want to really innovate something, they don't mess with the assembly line. They pull it off the assembly line and they create a concept car. What I love about that analogy of the concept car is there is no expectation of profit. They don't build the car to go into production. They pull off the assembly line and just say, let's just see what we can do here. And that's a lot of startups are in that zone too. They don't have a revenue model. They're just trying to solve a problem or they're just exploring something. And there is an expectation that eventually there'll be something there for them. But in a concept car, you have a smaller group of people who are completely focused on the task. They can be wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and adventurous and creative and curious because they're being funded by people who have really specific roles on the assembly line. So when we do that, we published a book called This Is That, Travel Guide to Canada on behalf of a CBC radio show called This Is That. And I don't know the first thing about publishing a book. We're the publisher, but we didn't know how to do that. That wasn't on the assembly line. So we pulled it off the assembly line. We let everybody continue to do their job. We had a team of 3 people inside our organization who exclusively worked on it. We worked with freelance designers who were specialists in that area instead of looping in people and pulling them off the assembly line. So we created this little pod of entrepreneurship within the organization. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, that you're protecting the established organization, you're kind of creating a startup within the walls of your organization using some of your existing talent, but you're not wreaking havoc and chaos on everybody else.